let's all move forward. So no one's moving forward on it. You know, you really need a champion, and you need someone to say, this is what we need to do in our state. And we don't really have that. I would also say, I think the folks that you talked to at the Department of Education need some education about the history of school meals programs, because they need to know the history, because to say that this is not a program to feed, the whole history of the program was because our children, our recruits to go into the Army were undernourished, and that's how the program started, because kids were undernourished and could not perform well, and so therefore we started this program. To say that it's not a program to feed undernourished kids is just like mind-boggling.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then my final question is for Heather. You were talking that you guys can't receive any prepared meals. So even if it's coming from a serve safe.
Yeah, I should have specified.
Okay,
so
all right.
privately prepared.
Privately
Yes,
prepared,
we
right.
actually work with a caterer, and we've actually worked with Farm Fresh.
Yes.
We do a Rhode Island Day
Yep.
at least once a year where we spotlight produce. I think it was potatoes last year that are locally grown. But,
Harvest of the month?
yes, I think that's what we did.
Mhm.
And I think it happened to be potatoes the month
Yep.
I remember. So, yeah, so we do utilize that type of thing. Like we have a shelf-stable program, an emergency meals ahead of winter. We provide all of our home-delivered folks a box of 5 shelf-stable. Those are all prepared, but obviously USDA-approved facilities.
I can't take that.
You can't make
Yes.
it, but I can buy it from Dole.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Renee, you had a question too?
I just wanted to make a comment about student
Yes.
availability. At St. Peter's by the Sea is a church where I volunteer, and they accept a lot of student help. The fraternities from URI, and we get people, kids from the high schools, and it's just amazing how much the atmosphere changes when the kids are there, because, I mean, it's a great atmosphere to begin with. There's a lot of love and welcomeness, but the kids carry the groceries out, and it's nice because it becomes multi-generational. And, but yeah, the kids from URI really do, the students from URI do help a lot.
That's great. Oh, another question back here.
So I guess this question is for anybody who can answer. Somebody had mentioned food shaming in the local schools. So is there anything actually in fruition that's trying to combat that, either on state level, on school district level, anything? Because that just seems, I mean, I've heard about that before and I've seen it actually happen, but it seems absolutely outrageous that because parents either can't or forget to or whatever, pay for the students' lunches, that the students are suffering, and that this is somehow becoming acceptable either because of the current political climate or the current climate of schools in the state. So
this is an opportunity for a fabulous research project. Schools have to publish their policies around funding for meals. I don't know exactly what the wording is. Sometime in June, and schools have been doing this for a long time, but no one was talking about it. And all of a sudden, people started talking about it and noticing it, and then you got a few articles in the New York Times, and now it's a huge. But it's happening in all of our schools. So. If you were my student and you wanted to work on this, I would say the first thing is that we need to see what all of the school policies are. I know in South Kingstown, somebody proposed a draconian, horrible policy, and it got published before it was accepted, and everyone went crazy, and now there's all these, people talking about how bad they are. And schools are struggling with what to do, and the schools are saying, well, we can't feed kids because we don't have any money. And so there's some debates. There's a lot happening in different states, some that are further ahead than we are. Right now we're just talking about it. You have policy?
Well, I'll start by saying I live in South Kingstown, and when it was first proposed to me, I was having lunch in one of the schools there, in one of the elementary schools, and they were so proud of the fact that if a child went up to swipe their card, and they didn't have any money, that they would still provide them with food. And so it's incredible to see how this has turned 180 degrees now, because the truth is, they swipe their card and there's no money on it. They take the tray that they have and remove it and give them a cold sandwich. So, you know, there's 1,000 ways to look at things, right? But it takes one person to understand the perspective of the child and what that looks like to the other children in the line, to really bring this out and what the implications are. So it's not a lot of money in the town that I live in, and I'm hoping that, you know, I'm pretty sure that they've abolished that.
I can tell you that right after that came out, I talked to Scott Mueller, and he said that the financial people suggested that policy, and the school committee said, no,
Yeah.
come up with a different policy.
They're still working on it, but it's happening
Yeah.
everywhere.
And there is a
Charahoe also does not do that. They're trying a new tack, because they have a huge budgetary problem with that. And they're going to try this summer taking parents and small tennis courts, but they are not taking it.
But there is state legislation that is being proposed to deal with this situation. So there's hope, and there's certainly awareness that's being raised around it, and that's half the battle sometimes.
And I couldn't agree more that this would be a great project for a student or someone to take on to really learn more about the issue, what proportion of the kids are of families who really don't have means versus those like me who might have forgotten that particular month, and you know, which is still problematic when your child's left hanging, you know, in the lunch line. It's terrible. And you know, so what can be done for both situations to ease the situation for that child? Well, it is after 11:30, and I could not be more happy with our discussion today. And thank you so much, Teresa Tansey, Heather Amaral, Kathleen Gorman for participation. And I really want to thank New England Institute of Technology for having us in this beautiful space and really showing off a facility with, you know, lots and lots of health students, including an MPH program. I'm really thrilled that all of you have come from so many different types of health and food or nutrition based programs throughout the state. This is really a beginning. These briefs are meant to help discussion and help in consideration of new policies. So thank you all so much for coming today. And if you would like to take extra briefs with you, or you will be able to find them very shortly online at the Rhode Island Public Health Association website, you are more than welcome to download and take as many of the briefs as you are interested in, and spread the word. Also, our Public Health Association is a member-run, volunteer-only organization. I welcome you all to join us and be part of our Public Health Association. So thanks for coming.